The days of juggling numerous passwords may be coming to an end in the near future. Passkeys, the authentication method that's been embraced by tech giants like Apple, Google, Microsoft, and Amazon, are emerging as the streamlined solution to the challenges posed by traditional passwords. It's no secret that passwords are easy to hack. According to research from Hive Systems, simple passwords that are under 10 characters can be cracked within 24 hours. And those with 6 or few characters can be cracked virtually instantly. Today, we're going to discuss how we think that passkeys are a more efficient way to protect your business in the coming year. Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Michael Kinnett. I'm CEO and founder of Eternal Networks. And every Friday at 1 p.m., I go live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and my LinkedIn pages to discuss the latest in technology and cybersecurity news that might affect you and your business, and also to talk about some tips and tricks and some information that might be helpful to you. I'll also be answering questions from the audience at the end. So if you have anything that you'd like to discuss or ask me, please get that ready. I'll make sure to leave some time at the end today. First, from the news, I've got quite a few this week. There's a lot of stuff going on. The FBI and CISA have just released some information regarding the Royal ransomware gang. According to them, this ransomware gang has breached over 350 victims worldwide, and they've demanded ransoms in excess of $275 million. That sounds like a lot, but it sounds like even more when you realize this has all happened within 1 year, from September 2022 until October 2023. Those are the numbers. Royal has performed data exfiltration and extortion prior to encrypting data, and they then publish the victim's data if the ransom is not paid. Their primary initial access is gained through phishing emails. So, important to know, these ransomware gangs, as soon as one of them drops off, another one pops up. Many of the threat actors, the criminals that are part of this gang, are known to have previously been affiliated with the Conti organization, which was involved in many large-scale breaches and ransoms as well. So it's definitely a lot of stuff going on with those ransomware gangs. Also in the news, the healthcare giant McLaren has revealed that they had a data breach in which 2.2 million patients' records were stolen during a ransomware attack. They were compromised earlier this year, leading to that exposure of those patients' information and records. The hackers have since released the names, birth dates, social security numbers, as well as the medical record information of those victims. The attack's been claimed by the Alpha Black Cat group, which is a different group than the previous one I mentioned. McLaren is also facing at least 3 lawsuits related to the breach. It's anticipated that there may be more coming. Another data breach that was just announced, the Maine government has confirmed that personal information of over 1.3 million people were stolen in a data breach related to the MoveIt file transfer system earlier this year. That was performed by a Russian ransomware gang named Clop. So we've talked about the MoveIt breach earlier this year. It affected over 2,500 organizations worldwide, and it's expected that it might actually be significantly more than that because we don't know the full extent of it. Many are criticizing Maine for taking so long to come out and announce that they were affected and the extent of the exposure, because the breaches occurred at some point prior to May of this year. In May, the vulnerability that led to the breach was fixed. Colorado, Oregon, Louisiana, some other federal organizations, they all announced, May, June, July, in that time frame about their breaches, and yet it's taken Maine significantly longer. So they're being criticized for that. And it's important to note, they said that only about 40% of the information that was part of the breach was Maine residents. The rest were residents of other states. So just an FYI on that. One other thing in the news before I get to our topic for the day. New York has announced they're going to be creating some regulations around cybersecurity, specifically for hospitals. This comes as a direct result of the large string of cyber attacks and breaches that have been affecting hospitals around the country. New York is going to begin requiring that hospitals develop and test incident response plans, as well as implement specific security measures as part of their plans. So I fully expect that we're going to see this for more and more industries. You're going to start seeing it more at the state level, and eventually it's going to trickle up, and you're going to see more regulations coming down the pipeline at the federal level. We've seen that last year with the FTC safeguard rule for financial institutions that are not regulated by the banking industry. So mortgage brokers, CPAs, accountants, bookkeepers, those type of people that deal with financial data, additional regulations that they have to meet now. It's fully anticipated that we're going to see more and more of that coming down the pipeline. All right. So now for our topic for the day, passkeys, right? When I say passkey, you may not know what I'm talking about. And before I get into why you should be switching from passwords to passkeys, right? We probably should explain a little bit what is a passkey, how does it work, and then we can talk a little bit more about why they're safer, more secure, and frankly a more convenient option as well. So first off, what is a passkey? At its core, a passkey is a unique alphanumeric string that's tailored exclusively for you. The cryptographic marvel functions as your digital identity key, which then grants you access to your accounts without the hassle of a traditional password. Operating on the bedrock of public key cryptography, passkeys employ an algorithm, essentially a puzzle, where your device decodes a shared public key with its unique counterpart, the private key. So this is the same that SSL certificates and encryption and all these things are based on this same functionality, right? That you have a public key that's exactly as it says, public, right? That anybody can see that key, but unless you have the counterpart, the private key on the other side, you're not going to be able to unencrypt that data, access the data, gain access to the system, right? These passkeys function on the same method, right? There's the public key, and then there's the private key. The public key would be something that maybe with the application of the site you're trying to access, they would have that. You would have the private key that's unique to you and only you. So activation for passkeys, how do you authenticate with the passkey? You simply unlock your device with a PIN, Face ID, fingerprint, biometric data, right? And voila, you're in. The site recognizes you and grants you access. Conveniently, passkeys often find a home in your cloud account, ensuring accessibility from multiple devices. And rest assured, passkey adoption coexists harmoniously with your traditional passwords, offering some flexibility for users. Many sites and services are currently using these passkeys. It's going to get more and more popular, right? So when you go in and put in your thumbprint on your mobile device and then that authenticates you into an app, that is using a passkey. There may be a password associated with that account you could put in as well, but the algorithm, that key that's associated with you, your identity, your biometrics, kind of combine to form this passkey to authenticate through. There's some advantages to passkey. Passwords, despite their ubiquity, they're notorious for being susceptible to hacking, as well as probably even more so user negligence. It's passwords that are under 10 set characters. I already mentioned this, right? They can be cracked within 24 hours. The more characters you get, the longer it takes for a system to be able to crack or guess that password. User negligence right around passwords. Frequently, when I go in and do cybersecurity risk assessments for organizations, we run a quick script, right? Hackers can do this as well if they gain access to your system. Doesn't take long. Within minutes, I can scrape any passwords that are saved in your browser. Look at those. And frequently, what we find is duplication, right? That same password that's maybe let me in 123 exclamation, password 2023 exclamation, right? That's used across multiple sites, which makes it even easier for these criminals to gain access to accounts. So, that's the downside with passwords. Passkeys, they leverage biometric data and advanced cryptographic methods to address those vulnerabilities effectively, right? There's no more a user having to make a password, right? Because it's automatically created through this algorithm, through their biometric data and other things that identify who they are. With passkeys, only those with access to your authenticator device and biometric information could breach your account. So essentially, a criminal would have to have your authenticator device and something confirming that it's you, right? Face ID, fingerprint, something to gain access to that account. Basically, almost impossible, right? Which provides a much more robust defense against cyber threats. Also, unlike traditional passwords, you cannot steal a passkey through phishing, through social engineering tactics, or other criminal, activities. Passkeys offer a distinct advantage because they cannot be stolen like a password. With passkeys, users will a private and public key pair, a dynamic duo, right, that adds an extra layer of protection. While the public key resides secretly on the company's servers, the private key remains steadfastly tethered to that user's device, making it impervious to the prying hands of cybercriminals, right? They have to get their hands on the device and on your fingerprint or your other biometric data, right? This fortified structure not only bolsters overall security, but also significantly diminishes the risk of unauthorized access or phishing attempts. You can also bid farewell to the hassle of managing complex passwords with the dreaded password fatigue, right? From having to change and remember new passwords constantly, every 30, 60, 90 days, depending on your company policy. Passkeys require users to set a private key only once, right? Only one time, which enables then seamless and quick authentication from there moving forward. This not only accelerates the user sign-in process, but also eliminates the need to remember multiple passwords, which also leads to higher login success. Passkeys boast a significantly higher login success rate compared to passwords. According to recent data from Google, passkeys achieved a success rate of 63.8%, outperforming passwords, which had an average success rate of 13.8%. This means that there's fewer instances of forgotten credentials and reduced risk of accounts being blocked. Right? It's really hard to forget your thumbprint. Right? If you're signing in with your thumbprint, you can't forget that, but you might be able to forget, well, what's that random character password that I created last month that I don't know. There are some challenges to passkeys. Slow adoption, right? It is gaining traction, but they're not yet universally supported. The familiarity of passwords and some concerns over passkey error handling on certain browsers have contributed to the gradual transition. However, as passkey technology matures, widespread adoption is expected to grow. Also, despite the advantages of passkeys, passwords remain deeply ingrained in online practices. The shift to passkeys is going to take some time as users and websites and applications have to adapt to the new authentication method. Passkeys are currently optional on many servers, allowing users to choose their preferred verification method. There's some common questions that come up around passkeys. I just want to cover a couple of these. One, why would I need a password manager to store passkeys, right? If I'm using passkeys, it seems like I don't need a password manager anymore. So that's a common misconception. Primary reason you'd benefit from using a password manager for passkeys is that it will seamlessly work across platforms. Passkeys stored on a platform ecosystem work well within that ecosystem. For example, you can create passkeys on an iPhone where they get synchronized with your iCloud keychain, and you can then use them on your iPad or your Mac laptop or other devices. Or if you get a new iPhone, right, you can transfer that over and everything seems to work. And it works great within Apple. Well, what happens when you go to a Windows computer, you have something that's not within the Apple ecosystem? It doesn't work, right? The login experience is not as smooth. Passkeys created on iPhone will work on a Microsoft laptop, but it relies on specific device ownership and a clunky QR code process. To contrast that, right, if you use a third-party password management system like Keeper, it's easier to use passkeys across all platforms. It liberates you from any specific ecosystem constraints. It works on no matter how many devices, which devices, shared devices, right? You can access and share those same passkeys across. One of the other questions that comes up is, can I use one passkey on multiple websites or multiple applications? The short answer is no. Passkeys are designed to be unique for every website or every application. This one-to-one relationship between the passkey and the website minimizes the risk of login attempts on phishing websites. For instance, mail.google.com, Google, is very different than mail.google, right? And you throw an extra O in there, which is a technique a lot of criminals use, right? They make it look the same until you look closer. Well, if there was not a one-to-one relationship of a passkey, then it could potentially be phished and exposing you and exposing that for criminals to be able to steal that passkey and then use it to authenticate in another method. So yes, it's a one-to-one ratio. You don't want to set it up. Just the same reason we don't want to use the same password on multiple sites. Here's another, probably one of the biggest questions. What happens if I lose access to the device that has the passkey connected to it? Losing a device doesn't automatically mean you've lost your passkeys. If you lose your device, you'll have to use the same methods to recover your account based on the guidelines provided by that particular application, service, website, or provider. For example, if you lose your Apple device, you simply log into a new iPhone with your iCloud account and then recover your account through there. Undoubtedly, passkeys represent a leap forward in online security. They offer a user-friendly, more streamlined, and much more secure authentication solution. While the death of the password may be on the horizon, the transition is going to be gradual. Microsoft and other giants have been talking about the death of the password for years. Hasn't come yet. However, right, as passkeys become adopted more, it eventually is going to lead to a place where the password eventually will die. Passkeys are still in the early stages of adoption. Human tendency is to stick with familiar habits, and shifting the passkeys does add another layer, of complexity to the ship, right? There's that human function that we have to figure out, right? How do we get people to adopt a new method? As the tech landscape continues to evolve, embracing passkeys in the coming year can help position you in the forefront of modern authentication practices. If you'd like to look into how you can use passkeys to better secure your business, I'd love to chat with you about it. There's definitely some amazing things on the horizon, some things that are accessible now, some things that are coming. I'd love to talk with you about it and how maybe we can implement things to make things a little bit more streamlined, a little bit easier for your end users, a little bit more secure as well. In the era of technological advancements, the surge in cybercrime is undeniable, right? I talked about that in the news, all these ransomware breaches and other data breaches and exfiltrations. Criminals are leveraging automation and AI to breach even the most robust companies and organizations. It's not a matter of if, but more a matter of when your business is going to face some sort of cyber attack. Shockingly, a computer is attacked every 39 seconds around the globe with an average cost of over $3 million per cyber attack per breach, right? Global costs have reached a staggering $6 trillion in 2021. So we're going to be talking about some of this. We're going to be discussing how getting a cybersecurity risk assessment can help fortify your business and make you aware of where your risks are and some of the options for how to patch those risks and manage those and to prepare for the event of an incident, right? The more you know ahead of time, the better you're going to be able to deal with it. We're going to be discussing this on our webinar, November 30th at 1 p.m. Pacific time. Let's see, I think I have a registration link I can throw up here. So you can register at webinars.criminalnetworks.com/November-2023 webinar. It's going across the bottom there. Love to have you on that. We're going to be talking about, like I said, how a risk assessment can help, fortify your business, make you aware of what's going on, what's going on internally within your organization, externally, where your risks are and what your options are for being able to fix those things. I don't see any questions that have come up on our live viewers. If anybody does have any questions, would like to chat, you can always schedule time to chat with me one-on-one. You can direct message me through any of the social media methods. You can comment on this post. We'll see that and respond later on. You can reach out to our office. It's pretty easy to reach out to us. If you can't find a way to chat with me. But there's lots of them out there. Right? You go to our website at itnet.works. There's phone number, email addresses listed there as well. Hope you guys have a wonderful weekend, and hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving next week. I love Thanksgiving. I love being able to be with extended family, loved ones, seeing some that we haven't seen for a while, and being able to share what we're grateful for in this wonderful country that we live in, and all the beauty of the world around us, and family and friends and loved ones. There's definitely a lot to be thankful for. So hopefully you have a good Thanksgiving, and we'll talk to you next Friday after the Thanksgiving break. Thanks.